The overall goal of this procedure is to separate and compare the monosome and polyribosome fractions from cell lysates. This is accomplished by first culturing the cells of interest. The second step of the procedure is to prepare the cell lysate. The third step of the procedure is to centrifuge the lysate through a sucrose gradient. The final step of the procedure is to fractionate the gradient and visualize the different ribosomal populations through a UV trace. Ultimately, results can be obtained that show changes in translation under different experimental conditions through polyribosome profile analysis.
Hi, I'm Anthony Esposito from the lab of Dr. Terry Goss-Kinsey in the Molecular Genetics, Microbiology, and Immunology Department at UMD&J Robert Wood Johnson Medical School.
And I'm Marcus Lewis, also from the Kinsey Lab here at RWJMS.
Today we're going to show you a procedure for polyribosome analysis.
We use this procedure in our lab to study alterations in protein synthesis that arise from mutations or environmental factors.
So let's get started.
Sucrose gradients should be prepared 1 day before use to allow gradients to become continuous. Mix the appropriate volumes of 7% and 47% sucrose stock solutions to make 48 milliliters of each of the following sucrose concentrations: 7%, 17%, 27%, 37%, and 47%. Add 1 molar DTT to each sucrose solution to a final concentration of 1 millimolar. In order to pour the gradients, attach a Pasteur pipette to a 20 milliliter syringe by securing and sealing with parafilm. Add 7 milliliters of 7% sucrose to the bottom of a 1 inch by 3.5 inch polyalamer ultracentrifuge tube. Next, add 7 milliliters of 17% sucrose solution under the 7% solution by placing the Pasteur pipette tip near the bottom of the tube. Pipette slowly, it should take no less than 20 seconds to pour each layer. Repeat with 7 milliliters each of 27%, 37%, and 47% sucrose solutions. When the gradient has been poured, you should observe clear lines between the layers, indicating that minimal mixing has occurred. Store all gradients at 4 degrees Celsius overnight, along with the rotors, bottles, and tubes that will be used to harvest samples. To prepare extracts from yeast cells, start by growing 125 milliliters of yeast culture to an OD 600 of 0.8 to 1. Add cyclohexamide to the culture to a final concentration of 100 micrograms per milliliter, and continue shaking at 30 degrees Celsius for 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, pour the culture into a 250 milliliter centrifuge bottle and fill with ice. Keep everything on ice from this point onward. Centrifuge at 8,000 times gravity for 5 minutes at 4 degrees Celsius. Resuspend the pellet in 10 milliliters of ice-cold lysis buffer. And transfer to 15 milliliter polypropylene tubes. Centrifuge at 5,900 times gravity for 3 minutes at 4 degrees Celsius. Resuspend the pellet in 0.5 milliliters of lysis buffer. Transfer the suspension to a 1.5 milliliter microfuge tube, and then add 0.5 milliliters of chilled, baked, acid-washed glass beads. Vortex the cells for 4 30-second intervals, cooling the tube on ice for 30 seconds between each interval. Then add another 0.5 milliliters of lysis buffer into the 1.5 milliliter tube. Centrifuge at 5,000 times gravity for 5 minutes at 4 degrees Celsius. Transfer the supernatant to a new 1.5 milliliter microcentrifuge tube and centrifuge at maximum speed for 10 minutes at 4 degrees Celsius. Lastly, transfer the supernatant to a new 1.5 milliliter microcentrifuge tube. The extract can be stored at -80 degrees Celsius. To transfer the lysate to the sucrose gradient, place the tip of the pipette against the wall of the tube near the surface of the gradient and gently layer the lysate on top of the gradient. For a 35 ml gradient, 500 microliters of lysate is typically loaded. Using forceps, carefully lower the gradient into the bucket of a swinging bucket rotor. Centrifuge the gradients at 100,000 times gravity for 4 hours at 4 degrees Celsius. Approximately 30 minutes prior to the completion of the 4-hour spin, attach the needle to the tube piercer and attach the pen to the online absorbance fluorescence monitor. Turn on the power for the absorbance monitor to allow a stable baseline to be reached prior to analyzing samples. Electronic acquisition of the polysome profile can easily be obtained in real time by attaching a DI-148U data acquisition unit to the chart recorder. Fill the syringe pump with 50 ml of fluorinert using the reverse flow rapid setting. Make sure that there are no air bubbles present. Connect the hose from the syringe to the tube piercer and briefly turn on the flow of fluorinert at 6 ml per minute in the forward direction to clear the hose of any air bubbles. Place a series of tubes under the hose at the end of the flow cell to collect sample runoff. Prepare an ice bucket with a pre-formed well for holding the centrifuge tube containing the sucrose gradient. When the 4-hour centrifugation is complete, carefully remove the centrifuge tubes from the centrifuge rotor and place them on ice, taking care to avoid disturbing the gradients. To analyze cell extracts, place the gradient tube on the tube piercer and connect the top of the tube to the outlet and secure. Raise the bottom stage to the centrifuge tube so that the needle pierces the bottom of the tube. Begin the flow of fluorinert in the forward direction at 6 ml per minute. Once the fluorinert has begun flowing into the tube, monitor the movement of the needle on the online UV absorbance monitor. Once the needle begins to move, turn on the chart movement to a speed setting of 60. When the end of the polyribosome profile has been reached, turn off the flow of fluorinert to the centrifuge tube and stop the chart movement of the absorbance fluorescence monitor. Retract the fluorinert from the centrifuge tube into the syringe by beginning the flow in the reverse direction at a rapid rate, making sure not to draw sucrose from the tube into the syringe. Unscrew the centrifuge tube from the tube piercer, lower the needle, and remove the tube. A representative trace of a ribosome extract prepared from yeast in the presence of cyclohexamide is shown here. UV absorbance peaks containing polyribosomes and 80S, 60S and 40S ribosomes are indicated.
We've just shown you how to perform polyribosome analysis.
When doing this procedure, it is important to remember to work quickly, keeping samples cold and RNAs free.
So that's it. Thanks for watching and good luck on your experiments.